Hey there everybody, happy Independence Day. Now this video I'm going to dedicate to two of my friends, my friend Janelle and my friend Della. I'm going to make a breaded fish sandwich and I'm going to make for dessert peach cobbler special cheesecake. Now I immediately thought of Della because of peach cobbler cheesecake. She actually ordered one of these from me and I shipped it to her. I do ship my orders. And let's just say I'm going to have to start using a different shipping company because when she got it, not only did it arrive a few days late, I mean, it isn't an insulated box, but it arrived a few days late, and it looked like somebody had, stomped on it or something. I mean, I don't know if somebody did, but that's really what it looked like. I have a lot of pictures for it. Speaking of that, I called the shipping company, and I'm in the process of getting a claim, and I was professional in the complaint I made to them. But what I really wanted to say to them was, let's just say it would be some colorful language I won't repeat on here because this is a family channel. Now, for the fish sandwich, I immediately thought of Janelle because the fish I'm going to use is tilapia. And, you know, I don't know why more people don't use tilapia. Tilapia sounds really fancy and expensive, but it turns out it's actually one of the least expensive fish you can buy. And you can get a lot for your money, at least where I shop at. Anyway, I thought of Janelle about this because she, like me, is allergic to shellfish. Tilapia is not shellfish. But I think both of them will like both recipes, so why don't we get started? So first we have our tilapia fillet with the usual seasonings on both sides, plus a special seafood seasoning. And if you know anything about preparing seafood, you know what that seafood seasoning is. Now we can cook this similar to the way that we cook the chicken for the chicken club sandwich, and you know you can make a fish club sandwich too. You can add some bacon to it. Wonder why I didn't think of that. Anyway, you will cook it for a slightly lower amount of time than as a chicken. And another thing you have to remember is that when you're cooking fish, you have to use a special kind of spatula known as a fish spatula, and it's usually a metal spatula that has some vertical hole. Well, this isn't exactly a fish spatula, but this will work. Anyway, cook that tilapia on medium, not medium high heat for about 3 minutes on the first side. 2 minutes, 30 seconds on the other side. Now you're already familiar with the coating station, so why don't we just skip right over to the, what? Those don't look like breadcrumbs. Ah, good eye. These aren't breadcrumbs. These are salt-free potato chips because, you know, fish is very flaky, and I think that when you coat the fish in potato chip crumbs, they get even flakier. So what? Why salt-free? Well, you know, whenever I make any kind of base for my breading, I like it to have as little seasoning as possible so I can alter the seasoning myself the way I choose, especially because I cook for some people who can't handle a lot of seasoning or who don't like seasoning at all, so then it's easier to use something salt-free. You can still use what? Then why is it called breading if you're using chips? I was trying to say you can still use breadcrumbs, and breading doesn't necessarily refer to bread. Just continue watching. Now I know the tilapia fillet may look a little weird right now, but it'll look a lot better after it spends 8 minutes in our 350-degree oven. In fact, it will look like this. See how nice and brown it got? But that clearly isn't a sandwich, so let's do something about that. Now that is what I'm talking about. Now it's time for my favorite, what? What else is on the sandwich? Oh, well, there's a pretzel bun, of course. There's homemade pretzel bun. There's some homemade tartar sauce under there. Spinach. Normally we'll use lettuce, but I'm out of it. Tomato, the tilapia, of course, and our farmer's cheese spread. Now what? Cheese doesn't belong on a fish sandwich. See, here's the thing. I've heard that argument before about seafood and cheese not going together, but if you go to a fast food restaurant and order a fish sandwich, there's cheese on that sandwich, isn't it? If you go to a seafood restaurant, there's lobster mac and cheese generally on the menu, isn't it? Actually, that's all I got. Now then, What? A fish po' boy doesn't have cheese on it. This isn't a fish po' boy. Actually, a po' boy would taste kind of good right now. I'll show you how to make that one day. Now. The crispiness and flakiness of that fish, of the pretzel bun, and all the accoutrements. Never said that word in the video before. All the toppings on here make this a pretty damn good fish sandwich. And I'm pretty sure Janelle and Della would enjoy it too. Now, on to dessert. Actually, before we get started, there's one thing I have to admit to you guys. See, the first time I attempted to make any kind of cobbler, I made a rookie mistake, which is I put way too much liquid into my dough, which turned it into batter, and that was really embarrassing because, you've seen my videos, I know the difference between dough and batter. But I tried to cook it off anyway, and instead of peach cobbler, I got some peach strange looking scones. Why am I telling you this? Well, just to assure you that everybody makes mistakes. It's human to make mistakes. So if you're an aspiring cook or chef, or you're a cook or chef already, don't get discouraged when you make a mistake. Just keep going at it until you get it correct. And one other thing I'll admit to you is that, you know, the layered special cheesecakes I make, like the one I'm about to make now, I actually didn't get that right until the third try. But one other thing I'll say is that even though these scones may look kind of weird, they still taste delicious. Excuse me a moment. Okay, maybe they don't taste delicious. Anyway, let's get to the real peach cobbler recipe. Now, what? Why does the cobbler cheesecake cost more than the other cheesecakes? Well, because I gotta use a whole bunch of fruit. About this much. This right here are 12 peaches, peeled, cored, and chopped. Now, with what? Why don't you just use canned peaches? Actually, you know, I will give you that one because I've been doing a lot of research lately, and it turns out that for a peach cobbler, a lot of people actually do use canned peaches. So I am not going to knock you for that. I just like to do it this way, and then I like to caramelize them. And you know, I don't give out a lot of my cheesecake tips, but if you've seen my updated waffle and French toast, stuffed French toast that is, or even regular French toast, waffle, French toast, and pancake recipes, you will realize that I do caramelize the fruit now. And you remember how I caramelize the fruit. You know, I just put them in a pan with some brown sugar, which I'll do a little bit later. Now, on to the crust. Now, this is... I just cut my finger. Anyway, this is how dough is supposed to look like. That's all I have to say about that. Anyway, first I segmented our dough ball into 2 pieces. But before I roll them out, I'm going to roll them up and then segment each of those balls into 2 pieces. There. Why do I keep putting my hand in the way like that? Segment each of those into 2 pieces. My hand's still in the way. Anyway, they almost look like they're all the same size, but if you look closer, the second and the fourth one are slightly smaller. And of course that means I'm going to layer things like I do with the pot pie, which means bottom crust, luscious caramelized peaches, and our top crust. And don't worry if the fruit is peeking out, that's how cobblers generally look. And the crust will rise up enough anyway. Now, after spending some time in our handy dandy oven, you will end up with something that looks like... no, I'm not drinking leftover peach syrup. Anyway, you'll end up with something that looks like this. Now, what? Yeah, you're right. You can eat peach cobbler right when it comes out of the oven, which is what I usually do, but I'm making it for a cheesecake, and if you stack a warm peach cobbler on top of a cheesecake, the results will be not good. Now then. Now this is what I am talking about. I am very proud of myself because I have never made anything like this before. And, you know, Della did give me the idea, and she really should be enjoying this. Well, Della lives nowhere near me, but if I have to walk all the way to where she is and hand deliver some of this to her, that's what I'm going to do. And I do the same thing for Jeanette. What? Would you do that for anyone? Well, see, I would do that for just about anyone, but see, what had happened was what happened was that anyway, that's going to do it. And you know that if you want the recipe for the fish sandwich, you look down there. And if you want to order a cheesecake, look down here. I did it again. Anyway, thanks for being with me. I'll see you again soon, and make sure you compliment me because I'm always fishing for compliments, so Lord. Happy 4th, y'all.